everyone. Oh, come on, you guys. I know you've had lunch, but let's get a little lively. This is for the kids. Hello, hello. All right. I'm going to steal my colleague's slide here. or borrow. Let's see, how do I? Is Jim in here? Can he? You know, I actually thought about that. Okay, so my name is Quisha King. I'm the Senior Director with Moms for America. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored to be here. I love seeing everyone who's so passionate about our children. And I'm going to be talking to you about the importance of raising patriots and how we can do that and how we can instill patriotism into our children. And to do that, I have to kind of give my backstory. So right after the 2016 election, my little sister and I, we were having a conversation about Black Lives Matter. And at this point in time, I was a liberal, and I thought that everything that I heard on CNN and the news was correct. I know, don't judge me. God is good. He made some changes. So I said, I'm going to prove you wrong. You know, I'm going to go look up the numbers, and I'm going to show that there is crime in black neighborhoods, that, you know, that there is a need for Black Lives Matter. So when I went to go look up the numbers, I was really shocked. I did not understand why there was so much, you know, all the protests and all these things going on with Black Lives Matter, when we clearly had a bigger problem in urban communities. And so that prompted me to do a bit more digging, because I really believed something completely wrong. And so as I started to dig, I found Dr. Thomas Sowell, I found Walter Williams, and I found Milton Friedman, and my mind was completely blown away. I had never heard of these men. I had never heard the conservative message. I had never heard any of these truths, these facts, these statistics. And so it really confused me. I mean, it was really like a physical, emotional response, because I felt lied to my entire life. And so, you know, I get on the phone, and I'm a researcher, you know, I'm a digger. So I was digging, and after I felt a little confident, you know, I call up my family, and I'm like, okay, Mom, guess what? We've been voting for the wrong people. We cannot vote for these people anymore. We need to vote for Donald Trump. And my mom said, and I was, thank you. I was ready for her to say, oh my gosh, tell me more. Like, you know, tell me all this. What have you learned? My mom said, oh my God, she's drunk the Kool-Aid. And I was like, no, Mom, no. I've been researching. I know what I'm talking about. And I was like running down the facts to her, and I'm telling her all about everything that I've learned. And she was like, oh my God, my child, you know, she's lost. And, you know, the family starts calling everybody. They're like, oh my God, somebody go over there and check on Quisha, because she's completely lost her mind. And so, you know, I knew the conviction that I stood on. And so I was dealing with all of these new learned ideas and new facts that I had learned. And I was sitting on my couch one day and just thinking about everything. And the Lord spoke to my heart and told me that my skin color had become an idol in my life. That was the most transformative day ever in my life. Because, first, it was true. And God made it very clear that me seeing my life strictly through the lens of race was an offense to him. And that needed to come down. And he needed to be put in that place. And once I did that, it was like 10,000 pounds had been lifted off of me. It was like I could truly see what God wanted for my life. It was like I could truly see truth. It was like, when you get new glasses, you know, it was like, wow, you know, the whole world just looked open and brand new and just refreshing. And so I was just so on fire. And I was so thankful to God for, you know, pulling down that stronghold in my life. And then God got real funny. And I felt him like pushing me into politics. And I am like, God, you have lost it. And, you know, we had that kind of relationship where I feel really comfortable to talk to him like that, because that's like what I said. I'm like, God, you are tripping. There is no way. because by this time I had heard of like Candace Owens, and I had saw all of the things that she was getting online, and I was like, you have got to be kidding me. There is absolutely no way I'm going to do that. It's like crazy. Well, God won, and so I went down to my first Republican meeting, and I was like, oh my God, this is pretty cool. And I just started volunteering, and then I started working for the RNC, and the whole 2020 happened, and I ran the Black Voices for Trump office in Jacksonville, Florida, which we did really well. We started out with a little over 6,000 Black Republicans, and now there's over 2,000. There's 2,000 more Black Republicans, so now we have over 8,000 Republicans there. So it was very successful. Thank you. A lot of hard work, a lot of teamwork. And during 2019, I had heard, I don't know, have you guys heard of the Southern Baptist Conference? And did you hear how they adopted an amendment on critical race theory? So I follow a minister by the name of Vodi Bakum, and he was talking about this. I know, you're my guy, you're like with me here. So he was saying how, we've really got to fight back against this critical race theory. And I'm like, critical race theory? Now, mind you, this is 2019. This is before most parents had even heard of what this was. And I was like, this is awful. Like, why would they have this in the church? Had no idea it was in schools. And so I'm reading about it, and I'm studying it, and, I'm like, well, I didn't know what to do, but I just knew it was a bad thing. And so the first week of my daughter's 8th grade year, and this was the beginning of the school year in 2020, her language arts teacher, this was one of those, we had hybrid, where they were in for 3 days, home for 2 days, I think it was. And so one of the days, my daughter comes to me and she says, Mom, my teacher was asking me what pronoun I want to go by. And I was like, what? Why would she ask you that? So I emailed the teacher. I'm like, why are you asking my child this? This is not something she's bringing to you. Why are you bringing this to her? She never responded. So I told my daughter, I was like, just be vigilant. Just pay attention. No, don't sweat it, whatever. Well, same teacher, my daughter records a conversation in the class. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's my baby. And because I told her to be vigilant, she was being obedient. And so the teacher says that they're going to be discussing some books that have some racial themes in them. And I'm waiting for her to start, talking about the books. She never discusses the books. What she proceeds to do was to identify the children by their identity group. So now this is all audio. I cannot see anything. So she's like, oh, little Johnny, as an African-American child, how are you discriminated against? Oh, Sarah, as an LGBTQ student, how are you? Everything was how are you? It was an assumed oppression. And so the children just started going nuts in the classroom, basically like the oppression Olympics. No, I'm more oppressed. No, me, no, me. And it turned into just complete and total chaos. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is an outworking of critical race theory. I could not believe that this was something that the teacher was pushing on the children. So simultaneously, we were having this controversy in Duval County, where I live. Statues needed to come down because they were racist, and the names on buildings needed to be changed because this is what they said, that black children could not learn because of a name on a building. And I just found that completely and utterly insulting. And so I marched, the governor had a hearing at the Florida Board of Education, and I marched myself right on down there, and I was like, okay, I'm going to tell them today. And I had already been speaking at school board meetings, just feeling like I was not heard because they were still pressing forward with these policies. And so I said my piece before the Florida Board of Education. I said that you will not tell my child that because she's black, or because they are black, because I have 2 daughters, that they are oppressed, and you will not tell white children that because they're white that they're oppressors. You're not, we're not playing that game. Well, the governor thought enough to share my remarks. I went viral. And my life completely and totally changed. And a few months after that, I don't know if you guys remember, we were called domestic terrorists. Anybody remember that? So that was in October. And that was my breaking point. I said, okay, I've had it. The school boards were not listening to us. And now the federal government, the highest levels, were telling us that we were domestic terrorists. I said, that was it. We need a mass exodus from the public school system, because I knew that my children were not getting the education that they needed. And so that speech went viral. And so what I learned, I could not understand how critical race theory had gotten into the public school system. So I did some digging, and I found that the Prussian school model, anybody ever heard of the Prussian school model? So that is where America got its education model. It was a compulsory, mandated model. Well, when they created this system, it was never meant to educate. It was meant to indoctrinate. So we wonder why we have all these people on the left running around pushing this stuff. You can blame this Prussian system, because we had Americans who were going over there studying the system because it worked very well to indoctrinate and make those, it started with soldiers, it made the soldiers minions for the state. Worked very well, and they brought this system over to America. And that is how something like critical race theory can come into the United States, because you can literally map it on top of this Prussian school model. And all of the other critical theories, you can map it right on top of it. It's fascinating. So please, if you get a chance, please look up the Prussian school system. So I'm learning this, and I'm trying to figure out, what can we do? Well, I get involved with Moms for America, who teaches, what we teach is that liberty begins in the home, and we want to raise the next generation of patriots. So I encourage you, even if I ended up pulling my children out of the public school system, because the window of time is so short for children to get educated. And my child had 4 more years, and I could not let her to continue to be in that system. And my little one, she's a special needs child. She was in a private school, but I wasn't too happy about that school either, so I ended up pulling her out too. So I'll be homeschooling myself this year, so y'all pray for me. So with Moms for America, how we teach parents to raise the next generation of patriots, we teach this through our Moms for America training Cottage Meetings. Our Cottage Meetings are 12 introductory lessons that teach you the principles of liberty. They teach you the Constitution. It teaches you how our wonderful nation was started and why America needed to exist, and God's hand on this nation. When you learn these principles, you walk into the school board with confidence. You walk into your legislator's office with confidence. We've had mothers that have taken our trainings and have said that the legislators have said, I'm sorry, slow down. Can you slow down? I need to write this down. So that is how powerful and informative our trainings are. So I would encourage you all to meet me back over at our table, so you can get involved. And if there is no chapter, we don't have chapters, I'm sorry. If there's no affiliate here in Ohio, I would love to help you get started in creating one, to become an affiliate with Moms for America, so you too can help raise the next generation of patriots. And I would encourage you with this. We get a lot of pushback for what we do, what we say, what we think. They try to make us think that we're wrong. Everything is upside down. Wrong is right and right is wrong. If we do not stand up today, if we do not continue to fight, we will not have an America to fight for. We are literally hanging by a thread. The Constitution is hanging by a thread. And they are just waiting for an opportunity, for the next opportunity to snip away, to cut it completely off, and to make us not have property, to force us to eat bugs. There is this thing called a Great Reset, and they are serious. They are serious. They want to take America down. They really do. And if we do not stand up for our children, for the next generation, we will not have a country to live in. So I encourage you to get involved. Thank you so much. Please come and see me after. I look forward to seeing you. God bless you. Thank you so much.